Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, the 19th of June. Um, I read something on Twitter yesterday. I follow, Josiah Bartlett from the West Wing on Twitter. Yes, I know it's not a real character and, it's run by somebody other than Martin Sheen. That said, well, probably. That said, the guy does say some interesting things that get me thinking, and I think that's the point of it. And one of the things he said, I think it was like yesterday, had to do with the definition of elite. It's not a bad thing to be elite. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is America's elite fighting force, our military. Um, so it's never a bad thing. But when I think of elite, when people these days use elite to refer to politicians, they use it in a bad way. It's like the same way they use the word socialist. It's a bad term, apparently, to be. It's a bad thing to be socialist. I don't get that. But it may have to do with me not sharing the same definition of socialism as everybody else. Meh. I like society and people in general and working together. If that comes across as socialist, then so be it. Bite me. Anyways, that said, people like to use the word elitist in a bad way. Elite in a bad way. But really, I want the president to be elite. I want him to be the cream of the crop, the best of the best, the baddest motherfucker in the yard, I want him to be not the guy you have a beer with. I want him to be the guy that awes you when you walk in the room, that says, I would appreciate your support, and extends a hand, and with one hand you take his, and with the other you hand him your wallet. That's the kind of guy we need to be president. Baddest motherfucker in the yard, right? Now, admittedly, we're all humans, so nobody's perfect. Neither are the dogs. And so, I mean, they're going to make mistakes, and they're in a spotlight, so they're going to be obvious mistakes. And, we're going to blame them for everything that happens while they're in office, regardless of whether or not they caused it. Oh, it's their fault, it's Obama's fault we're at war when the war was started by a different president. And I guess that's kind of why subconsciously we enjoy having the same president for whatever length of the war, like with Roosevelt. Nobody wanted to vote him out of office because, why change the good thing, as it were? And, or that kind of approach to it. We were in a big-ass war, and, but these days, good old two terms. So the buck got passed to the next guy, and then everyone started blaming him for it. Or I shouldn't necessarily say everyone, but a fair number of people started to blame the new guy. And so I'm like, oh, come on. So, and also these, developing trends in society, they take years to go along. So things started during Reagan's administration are finally starting to occur now, like visibly occur now. Whereas over the last 20 years or so, they were happening behind the scenes. So, I mean, we still enjoy a lot of the things that were set up 60 years ago. That said, over time, these things become different beasts. So, it's a complex thing to just look at the president and blame him for shit. Because really, it's not his fault necessarily. I mean, yes, the buck does stop there, but there's a million people on the way to stopping there. So, I don't know. I know who I'm voting for this time around. I don't feel bad about my choice at all, because the other guy is really disappointing. I don't know, I kind of just wish that the Republican Party had managed to pull it together, I had faith in them. They would come up with a really good candidate. And instead, they got an even whiter John Kerry. Ooh. I don't know. That's just my take on it. You might have a different perspective, and it's entirely valid, and I respect it. I don't have to like it, and you don't have to like mine. But please respect the opinions. So I'm going to go and see what the dogs were barking at. They're not barking anymore, so. And until next time.